Orpheus,
Hello.
how are you, bro?
I'm good.
It's been a minute, dog. I'm doing amazing. Are you in Argentina right now?
Yeah.
That's where you're staying still?
Buenos Aires.
I love it. How'd you
What's
like it
going
there,
on?
bro?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
It's a beautiful city and a really interesting country.
Dude, I'm so excited to talk to you again. It's been it's been over a year,
It has been.
which
Yeah.
is, yeah. So what's new? Over a year is a lot of time, but
Mm.
since we've
Well,
talked, besides Aquari, what's new?
how's the sound, by the way? Because I'm in a bit of a big
Perfect.
room. It's not echoing.
No,
Okay.
no, nothing.
Yeah, I've had a really interesting year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So 2024, I was in Mexico for a little while at a Soul Bra retreat. I was helping Soul. Yeah,
Yes.
I was helping Soul run a retreat in Tulum, and then I went to El Salvador after that to a health and Bitcoin conference, which was really interesting. They had Bukele's brother there, and Bukele gave like a speech on a screen. He wasn't there, but that was really interesting to see, especially how Bitcoin and health is sort of involved in the change of the country. Jack Cruz was there.
Right.
I think he was sort of, Jack Cruz, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Didn't he run that event?
Did he run the event?
Yes.
Basically, yeah, he was hosting it.
Okay.
It was run by a company. I don't actually remember the name, but they do. Yeah, they're based in El Salvador, and it's very Bitcoin maxi and alternative health stuff, which is really cool. It was really interesting. Seems like good things are happening in El Salvador. And after that, I went to Sweden, and I spent the majority of my summer down in Europe, in Scandinavia. And I was working for a couple of people, helping them network and stuff like that. So did a lot of traveling, met a lot of people, met a lot of guys I knew from Twitter in real life.
Great.
That was a really interesting experience. Really cool. And it's good to see the transition from people who know each other online and then they're actually meeting in real life, and
it is wild. Yeah.
And building together and stuff like that. So did a lot of networking. And then the summer ended and I went to Bali, and I was in Bali for 3 months.
Okay.
Working there. I lived with Sobra and a couple of other guys while we were there, which was epic. Bali is a very cool place. Don't know if I would live there full time because it's very transient. And unless you are a fitness influencer or a yoga teacher, or you just partying like crazy, it's not a very sustainable kind of long-term lifestyle.
It's just like a nomad hotspot, no?
Yeah. In and out. And I don't think the country can handle the amount of people that come in and try and live there. Because the infrastructure just it's crazy. The roads are jam-packed all the time. And yeah, the Balinese, I think, are struggling a bit because they're just getting swamped. Lots of people from Russia and Ukraine live there, which is interesting. Lots of people left because of the war, and there are whole Russian areas of the island.
Wow.
Where they're blasting through limestone cliffs to make roads and stuff like that. They're terraforming the island. So that was really it's interesting. So I've had a really fascinating year, and And then January of this year, I moved back to South America, down to Buenos Aires.
Why Buenos Aires? Why are you still there?
So I'm still here because I'm trying to make a base here. I really like it. I want to split my time half and half between Europe and
Buenos
Argentina.
Aires.
Yeah.
When are you coming to the city,
Maybe.
man? Mexico City.
Sorry?
When are you coming to Mexico City?
Oh man. Whenever.
Add it to your travels.
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to stay put for a little bit because traveling gets tiring.
Yeah.
And especially now with the business, now it's launched, like very focused.
Of course.
Need a like very strong routine. I'm sure you're figuring that out as well with Vivo. Yeah.
Right. So let's get into it, man. Aquari. Is that how you pronounce it, by the way? Aquari?
Yeah. Aquari.
Okay. How'd you stumble upon jewelry? Like, why? How did this brand get its start? I know you did an Instagram reel on it, but for people who don't know.
We had an interesting experience. So me and my business partner, he was in Europe with me and traveling a lot, doing a lot of networking, and we met a guy in France who is like, he's an inventor. He's an inventor, a sound engineer, and actually like an alchemist. He is a wizard. And we just became very close friends, spent some time with him. And then he showed us sort of the technology that he was working on, which is called the One technology. And it is a very special bioresonant technology. And so we started working with him, and out of like just being with him, seeing what he was doing, we came up with a business, which would be jewelry, but special bioresonant jewelry. So jewelry that actually has physical effects on you. And this is kind of a burgeoning industry because there are some other brands out there that have similar things, like anti-EMF jewelry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what we have goes beyond that. It's a different beast entirely. And so it was really serendipitous and fortunate. And then and then over since the summer, we've just been, building prototypes, getting it tested, and we just got, not just, but in around October, we got test results from a German lab, which are now published in a scientific magazine called Applied Cell Biology. And with that, we were like, okay, this is it. Like, this is the product. This is the business. Like, this is going to be incredible if we do it right. So then after that, it was just, in the trenches, building the product and then website and all the logistics that surround it. And then, last week was basically a soft launch and just going to go from there. So
market it.
I'm really excited to talk to you about it because there's a lot in it. And
right.
Yeah.
What does it mean that it's bioresonant? That it works with the body?
Yeah. So bioresonance, it's like vibrational science, basically. So people are becoming familiar now with like the human body being a sort of bioelectromagnetic organism, and flesh, your physical body, is the sort of the the last stage of the entire organism.
Sure.
In the same way that the world is the physical manifestation of resonance and light and sound and that kind of stuff. So as a bioresonant jewelry, what it does is it's basically like a harmonic intelligence, and it forms an energetic relationship with your personal biofield. So your aura, if you will, right? And it emits coherent frequencies, which have been very specifically coded through a very particular process, which I can get into a little bit without giving it away, because that's like the special Technicolor recipe. But yeah,
is this special recipe like what the piece is made out of, or
the whole thing?
Okay.
The whole thing. So
like the shape included is important.
No, the shape is just aesthetic. So this was just the shape of the first product. But we'll be branching out later and changing the design and that kind of stuff. But essentially, we have this very unique process of a mix between frequency technology that is done with machines, and then an alchemical process that our wizard basically created himself, because he's been part of basically a mystery school, like a
that's fun,
very secret alchemical.
That's
tradition.
a fun guy to work with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all real.
How do you talk to him? Just normal phone calls, or is there some?
Yeah, well, we were with him.
That too.
We were with him for a time, working with him and learning the process, stuff like that, how to manufacture. And yeah, we just talk like any other sort of business.
Okay.
Yeah, and so our pendant, it is its own technology, and it emits its own field, which is permanent and unalterable. And then that field acts upon the human biofield and has like health benefits and results for the human body.
How does it generate its own biofield? Do you know?
Yeah, so the frequencies have been dynamized, like imprinted into the pendant. Right? There's a special mineral formula.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that mineral formula gets dynamized over the course of like a standard period of time. It's like 4 weeks. And then there's a whole bunch of process with UV lights and this kind of stuff. And then that formula then has to be prayed over by us. So and this is part of the process. And that has to be done every day. And it's a very specific prayer or set of prayers. And it's amazing because what happens with this mineral formula is over the course of the 4 weeks of manufacturing, it changes, like it transforms, it dissolves and coagulates, it changes color, it changes texture, like it looks different. So there's a complete like alchemical transformation that has occurred.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did this wizard sell that idea to you guys?
Well, it wasn't like he sold it.
Of course.
After being with him, we kind of were like this. We just got really interested in it, and alternative health and bioresonance, bioenergetics. The stuff has been an interest of mine for quite a while. So I didn't really need much convincing because I understand the science and the technology quite intimately.
I mean, I guess what convinced me was, first of all, you're making it, but two, I read Dr. Robert O. Becker's book, so it makes a little bit more sense. I can see it like make sense, if that makes sense. Based on what I learned there, I had another question, which was, I know you just said nothing else can interfere with it, but like non-native EMFs affecting us, how does the pendant work with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, like the thing about EMF blockers or EMF refractors and this kind of stuff, it's kind of a tricky like thing to actually say it works because there are tons of EMFs. There's not just like one frequency band and stuff like that. Maybe these EMF blockers can block one frequency band, but unless you're in a Faraday cage, made of lead. Like,
Right. It can block one and like accelerate the rest.
yeah. Whereas what we do, our pendant doesn't block EMF, but what it does is it helps your body to deal with the like deleterious health effects that
Ah,
EMF.
that makes sense. The stress could be.
Yeah. So EMF causes oxidative stress,
Mm-hmm.
which leads to inflammation and, even stuff like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and that kind of stuff. We got our pendant tested, and it showed a reduction of oxidative stress
Wow.
60%, which is massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really exciting.
Right. Many supplements and foods don't even do that at all.
No.
Really impressive. How did the alchemist react to your guys' studies on his tech?
Yeah, well, we did them together. So we all were like, okay, it's a difficult market. Let's call it like futuristic tech, and the health industry itself, especially like health and fashion, it's an interesting niche. But there's a lot of sort of quackery. So we were like, let's see if we can get proper results, like proper tests, undeniable proof. And he was excited to do that, and so we did that, and it was fantastic.
How were these studies performed?
So we sent the pendant off to a lab in Germany, and they did the study on cell culture. So they had petri dishes with cell cultures, and the cell was fibroblasts. So that's like the connective tissue in the human body. And fibroblasts are responsible for like wound repair, regeneration, like healing, and also the collagen in your body. So they had these dishes, these petri dishes with the fibroblast cells, and they made an artificial wound, so like an area in the dish that had no cells in it, and then either side of it you had the clumps of cells, and then we observed the regeneration. So the empty part of the dish, basically, the two cell cultures started to regenerate and join together. So it started to populate the entire dish. And they did that under a microscope and took a video, and it showed like Wolverine type regeneration. So like we reduced, there was a control, and then there was the cell culture with the pendant on top of it. And the cell culture with the pendant on top of it regenerated 2.5 hours quicker.
How did it do that quicker? Do you know?
Yeah, so the resonance, the vibration that the pendant emits, basically creates like a quicker metabolism in the cell. So it increases the basal cell metabolism by 15%.
What the fuck, bro?
And also the cell vitality by 36%. And so it's just like it just regenerates quicker. So, which is awesome. Like if you're an athlete, if you train martial arts, this is like a passive healing device that you can just wear, and you will recover quicker.
No shit, dude.
And so that was really cool. So we got this one area of like physical proof, and published in a scientific journal. It was like took a while. Like it was a big project.
I imagine it wasn't cheap too.
No, not particularly.
No.
And then we did other tests as well. So we used a GDV camera, which is a gas discharge.
I've seen. It's like the Aura one, no? Or something like that.
So the famous one is the leaf experiment, where they cut the tip of a leaf, and the camera showed that there is the light body still present. So we had a patient and we had someone wear the pendant, and then had a GDV camera assess her aura, essentially. And this is a specific test we got done as well. We didn't do this. We sent it off to be done. And this showed that the woman who did it, so she had cracks in her aura. So the light body surrounding her physical body, there were cracks.
What does that even mean?
So that means that the vital energy, like that's running through her, is not distributed evenly. So there are areas of weakness, essentially. Because this vital energy, it runs through your meridians, and the meridians are linked to your organs. And basically, if you have a nice, even aura, this suggests that your vital energy is distributed evenly through your meridians, and there's no like one area or one organ that is suffering or not getting the energy it needs and that kind of stuff. And it's essentially electrical impulses that run through your body. But those electrical impulses, which is electromagnetic, it's technically your near field electromagnetic self oscillation would be the scientific term for your aura and the electrical impulses that run through your body. So we got it tested on the aura, and it showed that like after wearing the pendant for 15 minutes.
15?
Just 15 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
The cracks and the dents in her aura that showed up on the GDV camera, gone.
Wow.
And then we got that translated by a computer, and it shows like the computer scan of this woman's aura, which is on the website. Like there's a page on the website, the lab page, which explains this.
So continue, sorry.
So we did that. We did a chakra analysis.
Yeah.
And so the chakras, they're your endocrine plexuses. So, like chakra is the spiritual term, but endocrine plexus would be the like biological, the health term. And this showed that, again, wearing the pendant, same woman. So her chakras had evened out, like the distribution of vital force through the 7 different endocrine plexuses had become more balanced. The power of her aura overall had increased. And so that was also a really nice little test to have. And I might as well just finish off by running through the last 2 tests that we did. We did a brain function test, which was done with a biospect physio scan. Don't ask me like how it works.
I've used it, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's really interesting. So we got it done, and they give you a picture of the brain afterwards, like a mock-up, and they have all these dots on it. And the yellow dots indicate areas of tension. The pink dots indicate areas of attention, and the yellow dots show like a harmonization. So we had wearing the ajna pendant, she wore it for, again, just like 15 minutes, half an hour, and increased harmonization across those areas of tension in her brain, and also improved synchronization between the 2 brain hemispheres.
Whoa.
Yeah. So her brain was activated more.
Okay.
Talking to each other. The 2 hemispheres were talking to each other. And then we did an acupuncture meridian test.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, which is done with a mandala light scan. And similar to the aura, like it shows the distribution of prana or chi, vital energy, through the meridians. And the meridians are each attached to different organs in the body. And again, showed a more even distribution of vital energy across all the meridians and the organs. So basically, it's like it's a boost. Like it evens out your energetic body, and that can be shown by the results in the meridians and that kind of stuff. And then the last thing we did was send it to Japan and get it tested at the Emoto lab in Japan.
Oh, I saw that it's structured water. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it structures water. And obviously your body is, it's at least 70% water. And the fascia is very, there's a lot of water in the fascia. And that's obviously responsible for sending electrical signals around your body. So yeah, just a nice little test there to show that it actually structures water as well.
Right. Yeah, it's insane. This makes sense. How do you plan on selling this? I mean, your lab testing is good. It's for good marketing use and to avoid skeptics because you could just put that in their face. But who are you selling this to? I guess.
Yeah, like who's it for?
Yeah.
So
because you have you have all this testing done, and what I thought about when you were talking about the chakras were like Joe Dispenza types, right? Those people would immediately be like on top of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's for a wide variety of people. So
of course, human beings.
It's for human beings, but like specifically athletes, for example, or anyone who wants an edge in their training and recovery. So that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It's for people who are particularly sensitive to EMFs or even the energy of other people.
Wow.
Sensitive types who need like an anchor, essentially, because it acts as an energetic anchor and it improves overall well-being.
Okay.
It could be for like young, alternative health conscious people, biohackers, like people in Austin or like wherever you get these the people who love biohacking, because it's a wearable device technology,
A
but also
wearable device. Wow.
but also people who just like jewelry as well,
Right. It's
because
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially compared to other devices like this, which are quite big and clunky, and a mixture of a quartz crystal wrapped in copper wire and stuff like that, which is fine. But this is something else. Like this is gone through an alchemical process. It's not just two natural substances working together.
You're just convincing me more and more to go buy it.
Good.
Is
Yeah,
it
I'd love
important that
it.
it has to be a necklace?
No. So, further down the line.
Does it have to be here? The piece?
No.
Okay.
No, you could wear it. You could wrap it around your wrist. You could keep it in a little bag because it basically has a 3-meter effect. No, 1.5 meters. 1.5
wow.
meters.
Okay.
So not 3, but that's the range that it has. So yeah, and it's we wanted to think about jewelry in a really like special way. Like traditionally, our ancestors and then kind of indigenous cultures and stuff like that, they are very attached to jewelry because they think about it more than just in an aesthetic sense. Like they see it as, and our ancestors especially would go to great lengths to find jewelry because they thought like it would give them luck and it would give them energy and it would give them like talisman. It's basically a talisman. And so we have a modern version of that, which literally does that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's cool.
I was going to ask on that. Like, are there any cultures or traditions that inspired this piece at all?
This piece, no. This piece, we wanted to keep it quite minimalistic, and just like something that both men and women can wear as well. That was important to us. But going forward, when we redesign, we might do special designs like a cross, or like maybe a swirl, something traditional to like Celtic culture or Eastern culture. whatever. Like it's really sort of infinitely expandable because the substance itself, which is embedded in a resin, can just stay the same while we redesign the actual necklace.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's something to look forward to.
Why is the name of that piece? And what is it? Ajna? Anjna?
Ajna. So
Right.
Ajna is the name of it's the Sanskrit word for the third eye, the sixth chakra.
Oh wow. Oh, of course.
Because Ajna was specifically designed alchemically to work on the sixth chakra, on the third eye. So this is something we can't have proof for, apart from testimonials from people who've worn it. But it improves intuition and a feeling of connectedness, which is the two main things associated with the third eye. And yeah, so that's why we call it Ajna, because it has a specific purpose for that.
I really want to get the necklace, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Should.
So
send you one.
Does it interact? Well, on that topic, I saw your mom talked about her finger regenerating a little faster.
Yeah, her thumb. Yeah.
Do you have more testimonials like that?
No, that's the first one we have where someone actually got hurt, and because we've only just started selling it as well, so there aren't many people who wear it.
It's a little hard to say that the necklace did that to the finger, no?
Well, no. It's hard to say. Like, I mean, we do have proof of cellular regeneration at a faster rate, so you can make the connection. And she was the one who came to me, and she was like, "It's amazing." Like because I slammed the door, basically.
It felt different to her.
It felt different to her.
Okay.
And she's 70 years old, so you don't heal so quickly as you get older. And she was amazed at, like, she thought she was going to lose the thumbnail and like it would be completely bruised, and it really wasn't. So we're not claiming that just because of this it healed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like we have the cellular proof of regeneration, and it was just a nice sort of testimonial.
Do you have any other like acute testimonials of people genuinely noticing the difference in their lives and their body with the necklace on?
Yeah, we do. Need to record them because when we started making it, we gave pendants to certain people, friends and stuff like that. And so there will be testimonials coming from them who have worn it, and like, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about it here?
Anything specific?
Anything you want to, yeah. Yourself.
So myself, yeah. So starting a business, running and doing that kind of stuff, and I guess you will know this as well, is extremely stressful. Especially if you've never done it before. And so it demands a lot of energy from you and a lot of concentration and a lot of trying to maintain your center and not get frustrated, dealing with logistics and that kind of stuff. And so I've had a pretty stressful few months, and I've been wearing my Ajna pendant every day. And it's helped me stay like on the course and stay very positive as well. Because starting your own business, it's a big leap. It's a risk.
It is, for sure.
And you have to like visualize the greatest outcomes, and that requires energy and positivity and that kind of stuff. And I really think it's helped. And on top of that, like I've managed to stay training despite like working a lot and sleeping less, and it's definitely helped with my recovery. So that's good.
That's great. Yeah. Does it interact with like the environment? Do you know if it does? If it has a like 1.5 meter radius situation?
When you say with the environment, what do you mean exactly?
Like the sides actually interacting with the body, does it interact with what's close to the body?
Yeah, anything within a 1.5 meter radius of the pendant. But I don't know, like, you need, yeah, I don't know how you would assess, like,
Of course.
but yeah, that's the field, that's the near oscillation field that it gives off. It's like a little our inventor, he describes it as like having like a wise old pixie, like in your pocket,
Okay.
like Tinkerbell or something. Like he's just giving you a little boost, and like especially with sort of intuition and that kind of stuff. So it's nice, and it's an anchor for we've had people say, friends say, like I feel like it's an anchor for me. Like it helps my energy like anchor in my body.
That
And I
makes
don't feel
sense.
like I'm leaking energy, that kind of
Wow.
stuff.
You obviously plan to make more studies, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything in mind?
Yeah, we want to do a negative ion study to see that. Do some specific inflammation studies. You know, like the pictures of people grounding and stuff like that. They get these inflammation pictures where it shows red areas in the body and that kind of stuff. So we're going to do a study on inflammation and negative ions. Those are the two ones that will come down the line.
How do you plan on keep selling the necklace from now after your soft launch? Like, what's the idea?
Like my marketing strategy.
Sure.
So
like, do you plan on sending a few pendants for free to a couple influencers who want to talk about it? Or
yeah, I've got a few people lined up already. And I'm going to do a webinar.
Yes.
A short, 30 minutes, maybe 45-minute webinar where I explain exactly like what the pendant is. I go into a little bit about the sort of bioelectromagnetic organism, quantum energy, like biophotons, and how that like precipitates the energy, which precipitates chemical processes, which then results in physical symptoms and that kind of stuff. And just explain the science. And then anyone who signs up to that will be able to have a discount.
That's beautiful.
Buy the pendant,
yeah. I know you're a fan of jewelry, but looking back, like, how does it feel right now that you're working on bioresonant jewelry?
It feels like this is exactly what I was meant to be doing.
How do you know that?
Something that I'm actually sort of an area of health I'm actually passionate about.
It makes that's why I was surprised when I saw the necklace. It was like, oh, it makes perfect sense that he's making this.
And I like jewelry. Like I wear jewelry and that kind of stuff. And also it feels quite like futuristic. Like it feels like an area of health that is genuine and is going to help people. And actually not just the pendant, but the overall sort of framework of understanding how the human organism really works.
Yeah.
So people, don't just deal with physical symptoms by suppressing them with pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that. People work on the higher stages of health, like the quantum or the energetic levels of health, which is what Ajna does. That it works on the energetic level. And it feels like as a kind of split, hopefully more people become more aware and more interested in looking after themselves in sort of this kind of way, like looking after their energetic body rather than, just thinking about themselves as physical, because there's a spiritual element to it as well. Like consciousness is changing in general.
For sure.
And this awareness, this business is like a part of that awareness, like raising consciousness.
I love it, bro. You've said a couple times the future belongs to the most energetic, which I love. What does that mean to you? How does that tap into like the company's or the brand's idea?
So when I got to Buenos Aires, I was walking around, and I don't know if you've ever been, and it's probably similar in Mexico City, but there are certain buildings or certain streets where they have these extraordinary buildings, like huge, beautiful, like 1800 designs,
Okay.
Osmanian architecture. And you look around and you're like, why don't we build like this anymore?
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful and difficult to build, especially considering they would have done it with rudimentary technologies. Like they didn't
Right.
probably giant cranes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. You have these huge marble and stone slabs. And I was just like wondering, like, what is it? What kind of energy did these people have to be able to build like this that we don't have anymore? And like, why? Yeah, we build everything in
Yeah.
sort
Why
of,
are we so lame now?
yeah, exactly. Why are we so
Yeah.
lame now? Yeah, and and it's an energy thing. It's a creativity. Like it's a sort of impulse. And I think like in order to create the golden future, we have to have energy. Like it's
I love
all
that
about,
you had that realization. Wow.
yeah. So then I was like, the future belongs to the most energetic. And that phrase is also, I've seen it a couple of times on social media. So I'm not going to claim that I made it up, but it's a great,
Trademark it so you can.
yeah, quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it onto Aquari. Yeah.
So that was the insight that I got. And I really think the future does belong to the most energetic. And, we want to have the good future. And I think in the world right now, we're kind of like, there's potential to go two ways. And this is also why we called it Aquari, because it's like Aquarius, like the age of Aquarius, the astrological age that we're entering into. Like Aquarius is typically about two things. It's about freedom and technology. And it's kind of a race between like using technology to establish our freedom, or is technology going to take our freedom away?
Wow. I've had that conversation repeat a lot these past few months. That's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like it's going to be a very big issue. And so, we feel like the technology we have is an Aquarian technology.
Wow.
So that's why we call it Aquari.
I love it. Would that be the spiritual, like philosophical core of the company, or is there something more?
Yeah, that is one of it, which is why it's like the future belongs to the most energetic. But also, we want to be part of like a movement that helps to raise the spiritual consciousness of people. Because then, when you think more spiritually, you become more intentional with your whole life. And then when you're intentional about your life, like
Yeah, you're not just floating.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
and the details of life start to matter, and you see more, and you become more. And I think that's a very spiritual principle that we've sort of lost a lot, and we need to sort of reclaim that.
We've lost a lot because we're more distracted.
Yeah, I think so. More distracted, more materialistic. And it's not just materialistic in the sense we want more stuff. It's like it's a mind frame.
Yeah.
We think about things just in a materialistic way.
Yeah, there's too much attachment to like outcome, achievement, for sure. And that makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, that's really the story and where we are now, and we've just launched. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more from us, and other stuff coming in the future. Yeah. So what about you? Like, how is Revivo going?
Revivo is pretty I mean, I launched this month. It's been 11 months already. It's been a long and pretty crazy journey, not gonna lie. I've never experienced what I've experienced in these 11 months in my entire life. I've seen how Reviva has evolved with me as a person. So I see Reviva more as a company, but more like me. It tastes amazing.
Yeah.
It works very well. And these last few months have been a big test of my certainty of I've noticed how I just want things to happen, and that makes you not trust the process, right? Because you want it now. These 11 months have shown me to trust God more than anything. It's been that, I mean, that there's no words to describe it. It's only an experience you can experience. It's been wild. I mean, is this your first time building a business?
Yeah. A business that has a product. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't describe it. Only experience it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when you don't know what you're doing, and then you learn. But as you learn, you're like, oh, like your brain kicks into another gear.
Yeah.
And that I found really satisfying.
I think the last few months and weeks, especially, have showed me that the more I want that to happen, the further away it gets from me, and the more I trust the creator with that, the closer and smarter it comes. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think your product is awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
I think it's really cool.
I think yours is too.
And it's definitely going to be a staple of my training and that kind of stuff.
I want to send you some because I'm selling this first batch. I'm only selling in the US, but I have a couple that I saved for influencers. Then I'll send you a couple bags for sure.
Okay, I'd love that. If not, I can work out a way to get it delivered to someone in the US.
Sure. No
because
worries.
it's something I would like to buy regularly, so I can have it consistently.
Yeah. So that last question was like, what's your biggest takeaway building a business? But I guess we already touched on that. No?
Yeah. For me, it was like having the faith and the trust. Actually, having the trust, which is sort of starts as faith, but you kind of establish like this trust in the process and in the unknowns that the creator has your back, basically. And then also like just learning how to do things that you've never done before, and not having fear. Like I didn't export like anything. Like I did everything. Did the website myself. Did the logistics. Well, my business partner did logistics. Like coming up with marketing strategies that you'll see like coming out. And it's time intensive, like especially making reels. Like that's ideation, writing, recording, finding appropriate content, editing. Like it's a huge amount that goes into things, and it's just been really good to be able to learn all of that and actually be like, oh, I can actually do this.
Yeah, I love that. I have no more questions on Aquari for you, but is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything else you want people to know? Anything else you want to get out of your chest before we stop recording?
So is there anything else? There was a minute ago, but it seems to have gone. I'm just going to check my general like notes. I think no, apart from the fact that like this company is both like science and spirituality, and it's gonna help a wide variety of people.
Sure.
We're very passionate about it, and I feel extremely blessed to have been able to go down this process and actually like create something. And you know, if anyone is in a position in their life where they like are hitting rock bottom, you know, like things can change in a single year, you know. But like you said, you have to maintain that trust rather than worrying about it.
Certainty above everything else.
Yeah, because that's how it works. Like you give to the field, you know, like the reality. If it's some sort of quantum mirror, you need to give it the impulse, like of certainty in your future, for it to respond and give you the events and circumstances that confirm that.
For sure.
And it's a very like spiritual mental principle that I know for certain works.
Yeah.
Like I have personal proof beyond any shadow of a doubt that's works. And if you give the field the opposite, if you give it doubt and fear,
Just
it'll give that back to you.
Well, it's insane how that works, but it does. Yeah. Perfect, Gabe. Thank you for coming on the show, bro.
Thanks, Alfonso. This is great. Good luck.